has that number changed over time? And which parts of the country do all these people choose to live in? If you want to know the answers to these questions and many more, then stay tuned.
This is CBRBC News Broadcast, brought to you by maple syrup, hockey, igloos, and curling. Now tell us more about how Canada has changed over time. Here is CRBC News anchor Sarah Monaghan.
Good evening, Canadians, and welcome to this edition of Chippewa Raiders Broadcast News. I'm Sarah Monaghan.
And I'm Tora Buttigieg. Today's top story: Canada hasn't always had the population it has today. At the outset of Confederation in 1867, there were only 3 million people living in this beautiful country of ours.
Yes, Tora, but 23 years later, by the year 1900, Canada was almost connected from coast to coast by railroad, and our population had nearly doubled since Confederation. By this time, there are 5 million people living across Canada.
Then later in 1914, on the eve of World War I, there were 8 million people living in this beautiful country.
Fast forward a couple of decades to 1939, when the world was about to go to war for the second time, and Canada was growing quickly. There were 12 million people living in Canada at this time.
Well, Sarah, by 1960, the World War was a distant memory, and the Canadian population was increasing quickly during the baby boom. 17 million people were living in Canada at this time, and they were getting ready to deal with the hippies.
Fast forward another 30 years to 1990, and we are now at 27 million Canadians who are ready for a decade of grunge music and internet connectivity.
And today, Sarah, about 36 million people call Canada home, and some of them rarely get a chance to see the beautiful natural scenery because their eyes are glued to tiny handheld screens.
Wow, 36 million Canadians. We've grown a lot. Where do these Canadians live?
In BC, there are 4.5 million Canadians.
In Alberta, there are 4 million Canadians.
In Saskatchewan, there are 1.1 million Canadians.
In Manitoba, there are 1.3 million Canadians.
In Ontario, there are 13.5 million Canadians.
In Quebec, there are 8.4 million Canadians.
In the Maritimes, there are 2.4 million Canadians.
And in the Northern Territories, there are only 100,000 Canadians.
So Sarah, why do people choose to live in different areas of our country? To get to the bottom of this, we'd like to talk with our reporters who are on the scene right now. Let's start with the Northern Territories. Why are there so few people who live in the Northern Territories? Let's find out. Let's hear from our reporters on the scene.
My name is Madison Norman for the CRNB News, and today we will be discussing why the Northern Territories population is so low with only 100,000 people living there. The climate in the Northern Territories is extremely cold year-round. They have very long and extreme winters, but their summers are very short. For several months of the year, they have 24 hours of full darkness. The cause of this is several months the sun does not face them at all, so they are confined to several months of pitch black. The temperature is steady, so it's cold year-round with not many warm temperatures. Now to Janelle with the characteristics.
The characteristics of the Northern Territory don't include much vegetation because of its extreme temperatures, so food can't grow easily. There are also very few roads and industry, and the prices of food at the grocery stores are very high because it has to be imported quick enough for it to stay fresh, and it costs a lot. With their lack of food supply, they must hunt for themselves, which can be very difficult. Now to Sarah with the activities.
The major activities for the Northern Territories are things like dog sledding and fishing. They have lots of snow, so dog sledding is a means of transportation as well. So that's why so few people are living in the Northern Territories. Back to Maddie.
Now this concludes our news report on the Northern Territories.
Wow, that sounds like a tough and cold life. And now let's visit Ontario and Quebec with our reporters there.
Hi, I'm Tora Buttigieg. And I'm Noelle. And we're from CRNB News, and we're here to tell you why so many people live in Eastern Canada. Tora, do you know any features of Ontario?
Yeah, of course. Did you know Ontario has more than 250,000 lakes and grows an assortment of fruits and veggies and wheat? Ontario is also home to a wide selection of animals, including white-tailed deer, porcupines, Canadian geese, black bears, and more.
Wow, 250,000 lakes? The neighboring province of Ontario had 8,000 lakes and consists of 3 landform regions. Ontario and Quebec also have 62% of Canadians' population.
Well, do you know why so many people live in Canada, Tora?
Well, it may account for the mild winters in southern Ontario, as the north can get very cold. Or maybe the fact that it has many wonderful attractions, including Canada's Wonderland and the CN Tower.
Don't forget the 2 international airports and the access to the American border.
Yes, of course. Those are helpful.
The climate in East Canada is very mild and the temperature ranges negative 12 degrees to 21 degrees. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Very interesting. Well, what about the west coast of Canada? Tell us all about it. We have reporters on the ground in beautiful British Columbia.
Hi, this is Dana Stokes, Elsa Conkle, and Aaron Twig reporting live from the Great Canadian West. We're here to tell you why British Columbia is the 3rd largest province by population.
From the towering Rockies to the bustling city of Vancouver, the West Coast has many things to offer. Its beautiful climate and breathtaking scenery is just beautiful.
The Canadian West has 2 major types of climate, an important factor for people living there. The coastal climate along the windward side provides cool summers and warm winters. High precipitation is also expected in this part.
From the innermost part of the mountains to the leeward side, we have the interior climate. This calls for dry summers, and it contains the Okanagan Desert.
Another factor to the high population is the great amount of sites and natural attractions, including but definitely not limited to the crystal-like waters of the Emerald Lake and the provincial parks of Gabondy and Shannon Falls. British Columbia is known for its jaw-dropping scenery.
Built on these lands are a number of historical sites ranging from museums to castles and to resorts.
This is why so many people flock to this region.
Thank you. This has been Elsa, Dana, and Aaron reporting live from British Columbia.
Wow, no wonder there's a big population on our west coast. Now, how does that compare to our maritime provinces? To find out, let's pass it over to our team on scene. Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Lauren.
And I'm Maddie. And we're recording from Peggy's Cove in Nova Scotia for CRNB News. We're here to tell you why so many people live in the Maritimes. The Maritimes consists of the most beautiful places in Canada. It covers the eastern part of Canada like PEI, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland. Some of the major cities are Halifax, Charlottetown, Fredericton, and many more. In the Maritimes, there are also many breathtaking coastal cities like St. John's and Montcalm. These cities bring amazing sights to Canada and many people.
The Maritimes' physical features include mountains, highlands, and lowlands. All Maritime provinces are on the Atlantic Ocean. The Appalachians cover 1% of Canada's land, and all of that land is in the Maritimes. Because of the Maritimes' great climate, they are home to many great wine, vineyards, and fruit farms.
The Maritimes climate is a moderate climate. It has fairly cool winters with nice summers. Because of the Atlantic Ocean currents, its average winter temperatures are -5 degrees Celsius and an average 18 degrees Celsius in the summer. This climate brings lots of people. The Maritimes are full of beautiful must-see sights. In Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, and New Brunswick, there are Canada's oldest mountains, the Appalachians. These are numerous rolling hills with many trails to walk them. In Nova Scotia, there is an amazing view looking over the Atlantic Ocean called Peggy's Cove. This brings many people to Nova Scotia because of how spectacular the view is. Some great activities to do in the Maritimes is to go whale watching, visit where one of Canada's greatest films was filmed, the House of Anne and Green Gables, and to eat the best lobster. These tourist attractions are amazing places, and there are so many more of them in the Maritimes.
That's where our broadcast ends. Hope you all learned a lot and enjoyed this recording.
Yes, I've always dreamed of living near the Atlantic, but I also love the huge skies of our Canadian prairies. Here to tell us more about that region is our ground crew.
Hello and welcome to the Interior Plains. v.1 News is on site today for a special news report on this landform region. Located in the heart of Canada and known as Big Sky Country, it's quite the unique place. There are many famous cities and locations you may have heard of in the plains, such as Calgary, Regina, Winnipeg, Medicine Hat, Saskatoon, Edmonton, and several others. These cities and towns serve as centers for our industries including oil and grain farming.
These industries mentioned are made possible by our physical characteristics. For instance, the grain farming is ideal because the plains ideal in the plains because of fertile soil known as black earth and flat open lands. Similarly, our oil industry is made possible by our oil sands, another natural feature of the plains. People living here can expect a drier climate with a large temperature range. The dry climate comes from the plains being on the leeward side of the Rocky Mountains, which reduces precipitation. The absence of one leads to Regina's high temperature range of 35 degrees Celsius. Not many people live in the interior plains, and only about 19% of Canada's total population, a very low number based on land area. But why is this? Firstly, the climate is not for everyone, as droughts, warm summers, and colder winters can be harsh and undesirable for those looking to live an easier life. Secondly, based on the trend of urbanization, rural living is only enjoyed by a small margin of Canada's population, and the plains is almost all rural, besides the few cities. These two reasons may help to explain the low population of the interior plains.
Well, this was Triple Raider News live in the interior plains, and we hope you might visit this beautiful place one day.
Thank you, team. Now that we know so much about what each area of Canada has to offer, we hope you're better equipped to answer the question, where would you like to live? This is Sarah Monin signing off for Chippewa Raiders Broadcast News.
And I'm Tora Buttigieg, also signing off.
Until next time, keep your stick on the ice, Canada.